This week's La Liga predictor. Before we get to the games, two of the teams that we will be talking about were meant to face each other next weekend in El Clasico, Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's been cancelled because of these political protests. What's your take? And I know we try and keep politics out of sport, but we can't help but put the two together here.
No, and you've got to make a common sense decision when it's safety of players, supporters, and staff, security all around the ground. So it's disappointing because it's the flagship game clearly, and always a huge game no matter how both teams have started in the league. Both managers kind of under pressure a little bit with the way the teams have played, and we talked about it on the show the other night on the FC show with Sid Lowe, who's obviously got boots on the ground in Spain, and he was unsure which way it was going to go because Real Madrid didn't want to switch the games around. They didn't want to say, okay, we'll switch it around, come and play in Madrid now, and then when it's all sorted and calmed down, we'll go back and play in Camp Nou. And the next fixture, well, Real Madrid didn't want to, for whatever reason, didn't want to do that. And then there was a little muted point that you could come and play it in the US. Do you remember that game? They were going to come and so yeah.
Atleti still might, but that's another day.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if Tobias, the president, even thought about that. I don't know. But
has the right decision been made here? They've gone safe rather than sorry. Is that the right call?
I think it's a common sense decision, although I'm not, I don't know exactly what's happening at the moment with the political ramifications. But I think it's a correct decision. Disappointing, I know, but the game will happen. In the meantime, it's about these teams putting a run of games together.
Yeah.
A run of wins.
Barca are 2 points adrift of Real Madrid, but they play first. They're in the early game on Saturday at Eibar. They can go back top of the table. Do you think they will? They've
not looked great on the road, but I do think they will. It's interesting. I think the most interesting thing is going to be his team selections going forward. We've seen a couple of gaps. We saw Griezmann being left out the team because of the balance and bringing Dembele back. Then he got a silly red card or a second yellow. We've seen Busquets out the team because he struggled to get around the pitch as he once did. And so he shuffled the pack a little bit, Valverde, and it's kind of worked for him. So team selection for him is going to be key.
After this game, we have this one. Atleti taking on Valencia, 3rd against 8th. I know it's early, but it's a kind of must-win to try and keep up with the big two, isn't it?
It is, and I don't quite think they've hit their straps. I mean, they're having a few issues at Valencia on and off the pitch, but they're a decent side. The interesting thing, is when are we going to? How is he going to integrate this young Portuguese superstar, João Felix, and get the best out of him? I think they're too strong for Valencia, but I saw João Felix play for Portugal. Came off the bench, which was interesting.
He's all right, isn't he?
He's not bad, but when they get it's a change in direction this season. Different back four, kind of different midfield, and the new young superstar on the team. So maybe going to take a little bit of time before they hit their full steam. Yeah,
agreeing with her on that one as well. Mallorca back in the top flight, 3rd from bottom, taking on the league leaders before kick-off.
Do you know, normally I think, Barca, Real Madrid, they'll just go and win. But I don't get that feeling these days with the current players. That being said, I'm going to go for a Real Madrid win. I just think they're too good for these teams, even on the road.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of deviate from the fancied teams this weekend in these quartet of fixtures. We end with Sevilla against Levante, 6th taking on 10th.
Yeah, I saw Sevilla against Real Madrid a few weeks ago, and I thought, it was who's the French guy up front for Real Madrid? Help me out.
Benzema.
I forgot his name there for a minute. He scored the winner at a time when Sevilla were pushing them back in the second half. The only thing that let Sevilla down was the final product in the end third. Lots of possession, lots of good play, very strong, did lose the game, but I think they're a pretty decent side, and I'm going to go, they haven't got the best front line, Sevilla, that's their only issue, but I'm going to go for a Sevilla win.
Going for a draw in that one. Levante's form's okay. So this week, La Liga predictor Mark Donaldson alongside, help me out again, who are you?
Fred.
Alongside Fred this week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for live streaming